Good evening, you're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. Straight up to our top story. After CBI carried out raids at Manish Sisodia's residence on Friday, the Delhi Lieutenant Governor ordered immediate transfer of 12 IAS officers. Now, Mr. Sisodia was listed along with 14 others in an FIR in connection with alleged irregularities in the formulation and execution of Delhi excise policy brought in November last year. Now, Delhi's LG on 6th August had approved the suspension of 11 officials over serious lapses in the implementation of this controversial excise policy. Now, under the excise policy, licenses of 849 liquor shops were issued to private firms through open bidding. Earlier, 4 government corporations ran 475 liquor stores, and the remaining 389 were private shops. However, it was withdrawn by the AAP government on July 30th after Delhi's LG recommended an inquiry into the same. In the meantime, Mr. Sisodia has claimed that he is likely to be arrested by the CBI or ED in the next 3 to 4 days. He said, and I quote, "The BJP-ruled central government is not worried about the excise fraud. It is worried about Arvind Kejriwal because they see him as a prime challenger to Prime Minister Modi in the upcoming general elections," end quote. Now, he added that 2024 Lok Sabha polls will be BJP versus AAP. Meanwhile, hours after the BJP called a New York Times report on Delhi schools and education system paid news, New York Times has responded. In fact, the communications director of New York Times has told PTI, and I quote, "Journalism from the New York Times is always independent, free from political or advertiser influence," end quote. He also went on to say, "Our report about efforts to improve Delhi's education system is based on impartial, on-the-ground reporting," end quote. Now, BJP leader Amit Malviya had earlier claimed that the US publication's article reproduced in the Khaleej Times is a paid promotion. Now, this comes in the backdrop of the CBI raids on Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia's residence in connection with his probe into the alleged irregularities in the new excise policy. Now, the probe agency has listed 15 accused, including Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia and its FIR. Post this, the Delhi Chief Minister pointed out that the raids took place days after the New York Times article on Delhi's education system. Now, Kejriwal had said, and I quote, "The biggest newspaper wrote about Delhi's education revolution and carried Sisodia's photograph as well," end quote. Moving on from the story right now, the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom has condemned the remission of the sentences of 11 men convicted of rape and murder in the Bilkis Bano case and called it as unjustified. Now, the gang rape of Bilkis Bano when she was 19-year-old and pregnant was one of the most horrific incidents that took place in the 2002 Gujarat riots. The convicts killed her 3-year-old daughter and other family members as well. Now, the panel claimed that the decision was part of the pattern of impunity in India for those engaged in violence against religious minorities. Now, the convicts were released from a Godhra jail on Monday after the Gujarat government approved their application to reduce their sentences under its remission policy. The government considered their remission due to other factors such as age, nature of the crime, and behavior in prison. Meanwhile, in Himachal Pradesh, at least 6 people have died and 13 more are dead in the state because of landslides and floods. Chief Minister Jairam Thakur has said that he has directed all district administrations to carry out rescue and relief operations. Now, according to ANI, all schools and Anganwadi centers were closed in the Kullu district. Now, the Chakki Bridge in the Kangra district collapsed on Saturday because of heavy rains. Heavy rains are lashing in Uttarakhand as well. 4 people are dead and several others injured in rain-related incidents. Dehradun, Pauri Garhwal, Tehri Garhwal and Bhageshwar are the worst affected districts, and over 10 people are missing. Now, SDRF teams have been rushed to the spot. In fact, Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami has inspected the affected areas and has ordered officials to ensure food, water, electricity, and other arrangements go to the affected people. Also in the news, the DGCA has suspended the license of a SpiceJet pilot for 6 months after the Mumbai Durgapur flight faced severe turbulence wherein 14 passengers and 3 cabin crew members were injured. Now, a PTI report quotes a senior DGCL official who has said that the license of the pilot in command of the flight has been suspended for 6 months because of various violations. Now, the official said that the pilot could have dealt with bad weather situation in a different manner. The incident was reported in May. Now, last month, the DGCA had ordered the airline to operate at 50% of its flights for 8 weeks as there were several reports of technical snags. Moving on now, the Kerala government moved the High Court challenging a Sessions Court order granting anticipatory bail to author Civic Chandran in an alleged sexual harassment case. Now, a court in Kozhikode had on the 2nd of August granted anticipatory bail to Chandran in a case in which a Dalit woman writer had accused him of attempting to molest her. Now, the author was booked under Section 354 of the IPC as well as provisions of the SC and ST Act. Now, however, Kozhikode Sessions Judge has said that it won't be applicable as Chandran did not know that the woman belonged to SC or ST. Now, the Kerala government in its appeal seeking to set aside the order has said that the Sessions Judge's finding that Chandran did not know that a woman was from a scheduled caste was against the facts of the case. It said that the question as to whether the author knew about her caste could be answered only after interrogating him. Also in the news, according to Indian Express, the Vice Chancellor of St. Xavier's University in Kolkata has claimed that the former assistant professor who had alleged that she was forced to quit over objectionable and inappropriate Instagram photos had in fact resigned on her own. Now, in an interview with the Indian Express, the Vice Chancellor said, and I quote, she was on probation. She served us only for 2 months. She started in August 2021 and tendered her resignation in October. So there is no question of force, end quote. Now, to give you a context, a parent of a student objected to her pictures in a swimming suit on her Instagram account. Now, the professor said that her Instagram account was private and she was intimidated and bullied during a kangaroo court held in October 7th. Now, the academic had alleged earlier, and I quote, not only was I morally policed and harassed for over an hour, but I was also forced to tender my resignation, end quote. Now, the Vice Chancellor had in the meantime denied these allegations. Now, also, Indian Express has reported that comedian Munawar Faruqui's show in Bengaluru was cancelled again. The Deputy Commissioner of Police South has claimed that the show was cancelled as the organisers had not sought permission. Now, incidentally, a Hindutva outfit named Jai Shri Ram Sena had filed a complaint against Faruqui and the organisers of the event, according to PTI. The organisation had alleged that the comedian had hurt Hindu sentiments and made insulting remarks about deities Ram and Sita. Now, this is the second such incident in Bengaluru, and earlier in the last 1 year, there have been several other shows that were cancelled in Mumbai, Goa, Raipur, among other places. Now, in January last year, Faruqui had been arrested from a venue in Indore based on a complaint filed by a son of a BJP leader about a purported joke that he had not even made. He spent 37 days in jail. In fact, an ANI report has now said that there was heavy security outside the venue that Faruqui was going to perform in Hyderabad today. Moving on now to environment news. According to state media reports, authorities in southwest China's Sichuan province extended industrial power cuts to next week, even as a drought warning was expanded to a central Chinese province. Meanwhile, over 2.18 lakh people had difficulties accessing drinking water, while over 6.90 hectares of crops had been damaged due to the drought. In the meantime, according to South China Morning Post, about 4.5 million square kilometer, which is about half of China's total area, is in the grip of extreme high temperatures. And our good news for the day, Air India's senior captain Zoya Agarwal has become the first Indian female pilot to be added to the SFO Aviation Museum in the US. Now, she was the first Indian woman pilot to fly an aircraft above the North Pole, covering a record-breaking distance of around 16,000 kilometers. Now, according to ANI, Captain Zoya said, and I quote, "I was amazed to see that I'm the only living object over there. I'm just humbled, honestly. I can't believe that I'm a part of a prestigious aviation museum in the USA," end quote. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.